I have a client who is an engineer. And 5 years ago, he wasn't making nearly as much money as he is now. Okay. So when he started making more money, we have what's called an opportunity cost calculator, a cloud-based computing platform that does all of the math and tells you what to do. So he plugs in his extra income. He has $260,000 left on his mortgage. But because of his extra income, he's now going to pay off that in 3.5 years. And he's only going to pay $16,000 in interest to do it, because our program does all of the math and says, here's your results. We tell him up front. He was so happy to tell me that. And then when I told him, you're paying the loan off too fast and you're not paying enough interest, he said, what? I thought that was the idea. So I said, let's take $2,000 a month out of your budget. So we take $2,000 a month out of his budget. We tell the program he's making $2,000 less. The program recalculates and says, now you're going to be out of debt in 6.5 years. And now you're going to pay $20,000 in interest instead of $16,000 in interest. He says, Don, how is that better? I'm paying more and it's taking me longer. I said, okay, let's go back to where you were. That means for the next 3.5 years, you have to put that $2,000 back into your budget and put it towards debt reduction. So that's 3 years, that's 36 months, plus a half year, that's another 6 months, that's 42 months. That's 42 months times $2,000 a month, Norman. That comes to what? $84,000?
Right.
So $84,000 he has to put towards his mortgage in order to pay $16,000 in interest instead of $20,000 in interest. $84,000 to save $4,000. Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's not a good deal.
So now this is why we focus not on how fast we pay off a mortgage, but how cheaply we pay off a mortgage. When we look at these numbers, we will make better decisions about our money. So then I asked him, why do you want to pay off the loan? Now, this was back in 2020. Why do you want to pay off the loan so fast? He said, so we can build our house, our dream home. It's going to cost us around $700,000. Well, then things were just starting to heat up in the market back then, during COVID and everything. I said, you'd be better off building that house now. And he says, because I've been putting so much money towards this loan, I don't have the down payment to do it now. I said, yeah, you do. He says, well, how? I said, in the walls of your house. Get a HELOC. So he goes down and gets a HELOC. I mean, he closes on that thing so fast, it's not even funny. He gets his down payment, starts that house. That house is now done. All right. 2 years later, that house is now done. Moved in. Guess what? The house next door to his, which is comparable, just sold for $900,000. And the house he was living in, he put a renter in it. And with this system, he's going to have both houses paid off in 10 years. Boom. So the extra money he's paying now, the money he's making now, is now saving him more interest on the new home instead of putting all of this interest on a home where he has very little interest left. So he's no longer violating the law of diminished return. Let's take that extra money and save more interest. It's about how much interest we can save, folks. It's not about how fast you can pay off the loan. Cheap turns into fast. Fast isn't always cheap. That's a clip. What do you have to say about that, Norman?
Outstanding. I gave you a share on my social media.
Okay.
So hopefully folks will come. I see you have the replays on.
Yes.
So hopefully folks will come in and support your room, support your product. I'm going to support you and try to send some folks to you as well. I think you did an outstanding job. And this is probably just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, just the tip. Just the tip. In fact, where in Georgia are you, sir?
I'm about 90 minutes south of Atlanta.
Okay. Well, my brother-in-law lives in Conyers and I live in Huntsville, Alabama. So we're only 3.5 hours away from Atlanta. So we need to hook up. See how many people we can help.
I'll shoot you something in the back channel. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you, Norman. Norman just learned a whole bunch of stuff that he's sharing with a whole lot of people. Do you know we ran into somebody else not too long ago that's sharing this concept with a whole lot of people? Oh my goodness, you want to hear this guy. They refer to this guy as E.T. the hip hop preacher or Dr. Eric Thomas. We met up with him back in May. This is what he said about the P.I.L.L method in May. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L.L method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. Well, one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to pillmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today.